I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
I'm not even supposed to be here today! Oh, fuck you!
Come on, you want me to drive? You're supposed to be suicidal. Remember, I'll
Anybody
drive.
a drive?
Get in the car. Fuck me in the ass. Fuck you, you stupid cunt.
"87 fucking minutes. This felt like 2 fucking hours of such an insulting fucking moral. Wow. Bumhouse stepping down to their lowest was such a piece of shit. Probably if Snow White had not come out this year, and I had not watched that film, this would probably be at number 1 already. Like, this is the worst horror film I have fucking seen this year. This would be the second, but because Snow White's out, this is second worst. Because Snow White, I think, is worse in this film, but this was also pretty damn bad. But I'm here with a brand new epic rant, and this epic rant is going to be for a film called The Woman in the Yard. I'm not too familiar with this director, but after watching this film, here's something. Jason Blum, you and this director should definitely not work together ever again. That's for sure. It's like Jason Blum saw an A24 horror movie, like maybe one, or maybe something from Ari Aster, like Hereditary. So he decided to probably try to make his version of those. In a way, he probably watched an A24 horror film, like maybe watch one of Ari Aster's stuff, and saw some of the morals he's constantly known for constantly relying on. Yeah, which he has a film called Eddington coming out this year, and it also looks like crap. And when he watched it, he was probably like, "Man, Ari Aster did these films like, Hereditary, so you know what? I'm just gonna do my own version of something like that." Yeah, great. Hereditary is the only Ari Aster film I like. I don't like anything else the guy does. But Jason Blum did an even worse version of those. But yeah, this is The Woman in the Yard. The plot of this one, like, literally, this mysterious woman repeatedly appears up until the last 30 fucking minutes of this 87-minute bore fest. She's just sitting on her ass in a family's front yard, delivers chilling warnings on unsettling messages, and leaves the family to, I don't know, instead get the fuck out of the house. Like, the son even tries saying, "We should leave." The mother, who I'll get to later, is like, "No, we cannot go. We're not going anywhere. We need to leave." No. She ain't moving from that chair anytime soon. She's not going away, so just fucking leave. Wow. You have to, literally up until the last 30 minutes, that's half the fucking film. And Mo's in a potential danger that she's gonna pose. So yeah, this movie is already off to a slow anticlimax start, then suddenly develops into psychological manifestation, and it is not very satisfying way to wrap it up, and it just leaves more questions for the viewers. And literally the ending is like, if you're still when you lose someone, when you lose your partner, and you only have your kids left, end your life. That's what you should do. Like, what kind of good message is this? right there, because and and the viewer following through with it, and apparently that's all happy ever after. It says ghosts in their house with the kids that you never know whatever did probably happen to them. But yeah, how was this made? Well, the film's screenplay was written in 2020 by a screenwriter named Sam Stefanik as The Man in the Yard originally. But then that obviously got changed to Woman in the Yard. It was a woman instead. Then 4 years later, it was announced the film was put in development at Universal and Blumhouse. Our director, John Coles-Serra. I don't know what else this guy's directed or stuff, but he was hired to direct from Stefanik's script, and it went through revisions and plot changes, and Danielle Deadweiler was cast in the lead role. It was reported that Okwe Alpakwasi and Russell Hornsby had joined, and then May Penn Jackson and Estelle Kahila joined the cast on undisclosed roles. Filming then began in April 2024 last year. It was the first major production shot in Athena Studios. Yeah, in Athens, Georgia. Yeah, the studio's first production is this. Wow. Just wow. And the filming also took place in Bostwick, Georgia. Then, after the film was completed, The Woman in the Yard would go into release in the United States by Universal Pictures on March 20th, 2025. This got mixed reviews from the critics, this got worse reactions from audiences, and even though this is a $12 million budget, this made like 20, because Blumhouse is too much cheapskate like Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob. It grossed over $23 million worldwide. Yeah, yet another bomb from Blumhouse this year. So what, if it surpasses budget in North America, overseas it hasn't made shit. So it's only made $23 million worldwide because nobody went to see the film. Like, from the start, it's clear the plot's weak and has no originality. The characters, like our three leads, have such shitty family chemistry. They are not likable at all. Like, this mom comes off as a bitch most of the film. Like, yeah, we're supposed to feel sorry for, supposed to sympathize with, who's grieving her husband, but she barely comes off as likable because she acts rude to her kids, treats her kids like shit, treats her son like shit. And so it's impossible to connect with or care about either of them. Because, like, even the son comes off as a brat. Like, even though he actually has a smart brain, when he says they should leave, they should leave. But the mom doesn't want to do that because she's too stupid to think of that. The pacing drags on, the dialogue feels forced and unnatural. It's clear that the writers just lost interest or ran out of ideas. And the climax feels flat and feels rushed, even when shit starts to finally damn happen. And the ending is disappointing and honestly and literally so insulting. And it leaves loose ends and gives the impression that the filmmakers stopped giving a shit. They probably, I guess we've run out of money in the budget now, or we ran out of time to complete this, so we need to wrap this up quick. Or something, with this message we want to deliver. Like, The Woman in the Yard's not just a bad movie, like, this is 87 minutes long, and this feels like you're sitting here for 2 hours. And how to drain out tension from a premise thinking that it's great for a script. Like, imagine if you made a mystery detective thriller where there's about them solving a murder case. But you know what? They don't do that. The detectives would spend an entire hour sitting in their office before finally doing shit in like the last 20 minutes, and then it's over. Imagine if they made that. A movie like that. Wouldn't that be so great? No, it would fucking not. That'd be fucking idiotic. That would be a sign of a lazy director that probably just wants a quick buck, thinking that people will watch that, and then instead, when that happens, people don't like his fucking movie, and they tell him to never direct again. That's what it would be like. And any jump scares that happen, they're pathetic. They're just the woman's hood causing shit, and it's a jump scare. Like that. Like, the lead actress delivers lines like, the lead actress was horrible in this film. Like, it feels like she's just literally reading off her script. Or, just there or stuff, or an emotional range that spans from either like hurry up vibes, and the supporting cast, they're cardboard cutouts, like there are like our two kids. You don't care much about them. The ghost really is the CGI character or hallucination. Yeah, the woman in the yard that doesn't really do shit, but just sit in a chair until the climax. That's literally all she does. She just sits in her chair, she does not get up or try to haunt them, just sits there and stares at them. And what did the family do? Sit out the window and stare at the ghost, instead of get out of the house. That'd be smarter. I would probably get out of the fucking house. The son's the one with a brain. But no, apparently the mom thinks that sitting there is better. I like the direction, like Colette Serra, our director, who has, oh wait a minute, I remember. Now I remember what he did. He directed a shark film called The Shallows. Right. I forgot he directed that. That's one modern shark movie from today that I do like. I don't like Blake Lively as a person, but I did like The Shallows. I will admit that. That's one of the few films I can deal with Blake Lively in. This movie he directs, this movie is a lazy step down from that. And the climax reveals are so telegraphed here, and the 87-minute runtime feels like a bunch of lunch breaks, and the horror just hinges on shots of creaky doors and shadowy figures that forgot their cues, and the only thing jumping is your patience for the film to fucking end. So now how do we start our story? Well, Ramona, our lead character, who I did not like, I did not really care for, I did not root for, is this widowed single mother that was disabled after this car accident that has killed her husband. And she only has her two children left named Taylor and Annie, but she's honestly strict and rude to them most of the film. And barely doesn't really seem like she really likes them or loves them. Like her. And of course, this woman that just does nothing but sit in a chair is literally in the front yard claiming, "Today's the day, Ramona." And the woman uses shadow magic to attack their dog Charlie that goes missing and then gets presumably killed. And then the son is like, "What's this woman doing? Why don't we leave the house?" "No, we're not. But we need to." "No, we need to." "No." That's half him and Ramona's chemistry the whole film. Or later, like when he keeps insisting, he's throwing a ball at the wall, she keeps telling him to stop, and then she yells at her younger daughter for writing an R backwards. An R backwards. Wow. And then she acts all sorry about it. Like, there's times where she gets actually mad at both of them. Yeah, that's literally their chemistry the whole film. Yeah, there's movies centered on trauma, and I understand horror's not really supposed to be happy, but there's some movies centered on trauma that can be great films. You know, Jacob's Ladder? That was a great film, because that was good writing. That was good direction from Adrian Lyne. Oh, the Descent? The protagonist of The Descent was going through trauma. She lost her daughter and her husband. They got killed in an accident. She was going through trauma. And that lead was more well written than the lead in this movie was. Any day. And guess what? The lead in The Descent actually came to peace with her trauma in the proper theatrical ending we were supposed to get. But the US was like, nah, we need to edit that out, and just abruptly end it with a hallucination. The UK ending is better. I will take the UK ending any day over the shitty ending we have in this area. Any day. And if you're going to do a film about trauma too, make sure you impact the audience with a positive message. Despite that one someone would probably go through. This film doesn't do that, and It demonstrates one of the worst messages to ever be seen in a film. Is that instead of trying to cope with it, and still, suppose if you did lose your lover, and your kids were what you had left, and it may take some time to move on, yes, but at least still try to raise them, and eventually, come at peace with their deaths. That's not what this film wants. That the movie basically says you should end your own life when that happens, and never try to recover. Yeah, recovering from a loss like this is hard. I can definitely understand that. It's hard to get over a loss. It is hard to get over a loss, but I'm not gonna kill my. No, like it's not a good message to just give up on life. And right here, I think most of these characters are supposed to be in mourning, but right there, but their hair designs like out of place, and their hair designs come off as silly, and their story that we're trying to tell just drags. There's nothing imaginative, there's nothing unique, there's nothing new. You gotta wait for what feels like 2 hours of boring, tedious scenes and dialogue before anything tries to even happen. Like, right there. It might as well just make this movie 30 minutes if you're not gonna do shit. Because the first entire hour makes no difference. And when the story's delivered visually, it should feel like a roller coaster, but no. It doesn't feel like that. This actually feels like a kiddie ride in the first hour. There may be some horror, but it's barely used, and it doesn't happen until like the finale. And the runtime is pretty short. And that wouldn't be that bad of a watch, but the problem with this short runtime, this does not feel like 87 minutes. This felt like 2 hours. This felt like a 2-hour chore with annoying characters that you don't like and you don't care about, and an insulting message. So, yeah, we get the scenes I describe are just Ramona trying to keep her kids away from the woman, but even though she's not doing anything but sitting there, so just leave. Just go the other way. Go around the house and just go to the neighbor's house. The son's the only one that actually wants to have a brain. And apparently this woman seems to know the true circumstances of her husband's death. Then Ramona made the kids think that he was driving the whole entire time and caused the accident. But then you find out Ramona was driving and crashed the car because she was arguing with David about, I don't want to live in the city. I'm unhappy with my life, marriage, and family. And so, that's really that. And the woman then uses his dark power to antagonize the family and try to take the kids away. But then Ramona surrenders herself to the woman and agrees to send the kids away for her safety if she's going to kill herself. And the movie just fails to leave an impression because of its predictable storyline. And it's just so you know what's going to happen next. And he leaves little room for surprise. And lack of energy contributes to the boring atmosphere. You can't stay invested in the unfolding events. And another glaring issue with the movie, because you have no character development, because all your characters are unlikable, assholes, they feel flat and one-dimensional, there's no growth or depth to their personalities to really make you care about them at all, like this movie wanted to, and you never get to understand their motivations or see them evolve. And it becomes hard to care about what happens to either of them, because they're not real or relatable people. And the story is left incomplete, and plot points just get glossed over, and they don't get resolved. And once the film is finished, there's a sense of something vital that gets left out, so the audience is unsatisfied and confused. Right there. And there's not really any much scares that really happen in the film, aside from, and the only action you kind of get is a single gun appearing throughout the film, that the son actually also tries to use to scare the woman off, because he actually tries to get this intruder off their property. But the mom gets mad at him for doing that. For what? Actually trying to protect the house? Oh, actually trying to do something? Actually trying to deal with their situation and not just sit there and think that she's just going to go away when she's not going to do anything? right there, but sit there. She just sits there for an entire hour. And then you find out that the woman actually turns out to be this physical manifestation of Ramona's psyche and was only there because Ramona was praying for her. I'm impressed when she prayed for her. Apparently, this woman has the strength to carry on after David's death, but she's just praying for the strength to end her life because of her depression. And the woman is there, I'm here to help you commit suicide. The children are better off without you. They will be happier they'll be happier without you. They'll be happier with no more parents. Like, it's like, yeah, this is a company that usually, when it comes to making money, Blumhouse, they know how to make the crap out a quick buck. Make your budgets cheap, and because they'll only surpass it because they're too cheap to try to put in any effort in their budget. Blumhouse, they'll occasionally make a good film once in a while with stuff like Get Out or Split or The Black Phone. The first 3 Insidious movies, fuck both Insidious the Red Door and fuck The Last Key. Both those are pieces of shit. Purge Anarchy, I don't give a rat's ass about the other Purge films. Purge Anarchy is the only one that's actually worth a shit. I wish that was the only one they made. And just give Purge Anarchy a much more satisfying ending where the Purge gets destroyed for good in that film. I wish the Purge got destroyed for good in that film. And then we wouldn't have had any more Purge films after that. And that was the only Purge movie we had. And Speak No Evil. I can deal with them with those films. Like, this is a company that is still a powerhouse of our horror. They churn out low-budget films that, because of the low budgets, they turn a profit. The studio's approach to horror, most of the time, with the exception of the films I've mentioned, they lack the depth, originality, and genuine terror because, yeah, they even almost have the same idea. Almost every one of their victims or main leads has to be a family. All the time. They always gotta be a family. And the lead always, the near victims or the possessed people always gotta be a kid. It's always gotta be like that with their films. They gotta keep trying to repeat Insidious all the time. Nearly all the time. There's some times when they don't, but they always resort to predictable jump scares, recycled tropes, and shallow characters designed to appeal to the broadest possible audience. And literally, half of Blumhouse's movies, yeah, they have micro budgets, but guess what? Half of their movies since Five Nights at Freddy's, they've all bombed. Like, here's this idea. Halloween Ends, well, some of these were even made before Five Nights at Freddy's, and they bombed too. Halloween Ends bombed. Exorcist Believer bombed. Night Swim bombed. Imaginary bombed. Afraid bombed. Wolfman, that released at the beginning of this year, that was also a piece of shit, bombed. And even Drop apparently has even bombed so far. It's not really a shock at all. So what, surpassing your budget? It's not even going to remotely reach the huge profits that, like, the Happy Death Day films have even reached. So yeah, like, this company, they're clearly starting to get wised up on by cinema goers. Now, maybe they'll have one profit with Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Just maybe they'll have a profit with Five Nights at Freddy's 2 because Five Nights at Freddy's got negative reviews, but it didn't stop it from making money. And there's fans of the games that did seem to like it. And the teaser I saw for Five Nights at Freddy's 2, maybe this might be an improvement because they're saying they'll probably add a little more horror to this one. They're going to try to add more horror to this film. So maybe it'll get better reviews. Maybe this one will still make a profit. And because it's being released around Christmas time, so maybe it might have a chance of some box office, but just maybe it will. I'm sure it probably will. Because Five Nights at Freddy's does have a huge fan base, so it'll still make money. I'm sure about that. Another thing about this movie is that the characters' actions make no sense. Somebody's like what, because I mentioned, when there's somebody sitting in your yard that's not doing anything, you tell them to leave, and you go call the cops if they don't listen, then you go find somebody, and your power's out, then you should get out of there. But they just sit, but no, because the mom's like, no, we're not doing anything. No, you guys are all staying here. You guys are not going anywhere. Your power's out. Your power's out. They can't really call anybody. Your power's clearly not going to get restored if you're in the middle of nowhere. They just sit in that house, stare at the window for an hour because that's going to make her totally go away. Yeah, so what if this person was a killer? Would you all just be sitting at your window for an hour, just let him come into your house and kill every one of you? I wouldn't. I'd get out of the house and go retreat to a neighbor's house and call the cops there. And let the cops deal with them. But no. Like, the son's literally the one with the brain that actually wants to do something like that. The son's the only one that actually tries to actually get her off their property. Because he's the only one of the three with a brain. Yeah, I don't really like this character. I didn't like this character either, but at least this guy actually tried to get her off the property instead of just sit there like an idiot. So it's hard to really root for anybody here. So now we get on to our insulting finale. So Ramona says, you kids need to get out of here, get to the neighbor's house, you're all better off without me. Then the woman leads her into the farm, assists Ramona to point the gun at herself, and then cuts to black. And then the children return with their dog, and the woman is gone. Then they see their mom. Hey, you're back. Will the woman come back? And Rose's like, no, not today, but she'll be ready. So then they brace, and the camera pans to the house, and they're leaving, and it reveals a painting Ramona not finished, and shows her and the woman's faces together with Ramona's name spelled backwards. So basically how it is. Maybe Ramona didn't kill herself and leaves the barn. Then the kids and the dog all come back. They go into the house together. And then, of course, we see a painted Ramona, but the signature is mirrored. So guess what? You want to know what that does imply? She actually did kill herself. Yeah, that is how what 90 minutes supposedly was supposed to be is actually how really a 2-hour fucking story ends. Good job teaching a bad lesson to viewers, Jason Baum. When you're grieving over a loss, the solution is to just give up on life. And just end it. And this is apparently a good message. Really? Yeah, great. Okay. Getting over a loss is hard. It's hard to getting over a loss is not easy, and it does take a lot of time. It does take some years. It will probably take years or maybe even months. It's hard. It's not easy to go through. That I definitely understand. Losses are not easy. And they are difficult to get through. But eventually it will happen. But this film just does not present that well. So, would I have any good qualities with The Woman in the Yard? Well, I think the good quality it has that the film at least rightfully bombed. Like, yeah, it surpassed, North America surpassed its budget of $12 million, but in budgets, you always gotta include the advertising. You got and stuff. You gotta include like the trailers. You gotta include the cast salaries to add to your budget of $12 million. And yeah, it made $22 million domestically, but overseas, you did not make shit overseas. You only made like $765,000 there in total. You've only made $23 million worldwide. So technically, you did still in a way bomb. Hell, guess what? The Wolfman Jay Bumhouse's piece of shit Wolfman movie that was literally just a boring ass ripoff of The Fly from David Cronenberg. That did surpass its budget of $34 million, and it still bombed. That bombed too. Because that film sucked. So this wasn't really profitable either. So yeah, The Woman in the Yard is horseshit, and it belongs in a dumpster fire. It should be called Movie in a Dumpster Fire instead. Because this is literally what this feels like. So in the end, The Woman in the Yard is utter horseshit that feels like Jason Blum just wanted to make his own little A24-style horror film to try to copy their success and failing badly at it and making an even worse result. Anyways, that's my epic rant on The Woman in the Yard. If we're not going to rank The Woman in the Yard, here's how I'm going to rank this movie. So overall, if you are looking for a film where Jason Blum badly wants to make his own version of an Ari Aster film or A24 horror film in general, that's what you will get here, and it ends up being a more horseshit version of either. And if you're wondering how I'm going to rank The Woman in the Yard, I'm going to give The Woman in the Yard a 0 out of 10. Alright, there we go, guys. Now I want to know in the comments down below what you guys thought about Woman in the Yard, whether you love this movie or whether you hated this movie as much as I did. And until then, that'll be it for this review. Thank you all for watching. If you like this, want to see more, don't forget to like, subscribe to Don G. Corleone.